Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but hold on 1 second, because why?
Okay.
Come on. Why aren't you letting me? I gotta. Ugh.
Go ahead and
Not sure what is going on with this. I gotta quit Safari
Okay.
and try this again. Okay. All right. Leave. Leave.
You're back. Any
Okay.
better?
I guess.
What was wrong?
I don't. Okay, I'm having a problem which has happened the last few weeks where my camera um, is zoomed in and it won't zoom out using Riverside. I don't know why.
Like
Um,
I see you normally. Like it's not like I only see your nose or something. I see your whole
yeah, but that's
torso.
because I had to move physically to get in front of it. I can't
Uh,
like adjust it in any way.
oh, you mean the automatic moving and centering
Well,
feature is not
not even.
working?
Well, it's not even. I'm not trying to move it automatically. I'm trying to do it manually, which I'm supposed to do, and it's not letting me in any way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
Wait. Hang on.
Okay. Yeah,
Well, it's
just
letting
moved.
me recenter, but what it's not letting me do is zoom. I can't. It won't. It used to be. I am zoomed at that zoom, and it's not letting me adjust it for whatever reason. I can't zoom out, which I could do normally, and it's not letting me for some reason.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I don't know why. Now, I mean, the only thing I could think of is that I had fiddled with this application
Mm-hmm.
to am I frozen on your end on video right now?
Yes, you are now frozen. You weren't a few seconds ago, but you are now.
Okay, let me exit again. Let me exit again. This is
Okay.
I was fucking around with an application over here, and I may have fucked up stuff. Here, give me close this.
Okay. Welcome back. Ah, it just zoomed a little bit. No, just centered.
If I click on the zoom right now in either direction, it doesn't affect anything whatsoever.
What was the new software that you were messing with?
It's this thing called OBS, which the reason to use
live
it
streaming.
is, yeah, but also for like overlays.
Yeah,
I was getting, I was trying to play with that a little bit for like watermarks of stuff on the video and stuff, logos and that kind of thing. And so I was playing with that. And ever since I started playing with that, now I can't zoom on the fucking camera.
I'm sure if it's an OBS problem, somebody's found it, and you'll be able to Google a solution.
Oh God, yeah. Well, all right. Well, let's. Okay.
Okay,
You
but
got a
first,
close up of my. You got a close up of my face.
It's not even close up. It's completely normal from what I can see. Like it's exactly like you look every week. Anyway,
well, well, it's been happening for a few weeks. So the reality is that I usually typically try to make this much further out, but I've been stuck at this Zoom for weeks now.
Okay.
Because I can't, anyway. All right, let's move.
Anyway, just because you've been talking about zooming, zooming. We're gonna have a special intro this time.
Okay.
For us Gen Xers out here, and I'll put in a higher quality version later.
Closer to the microphone, louder. There you go.
I'm Kenny.
Now.
My name's Tracy. I'm Tommy. I'm Nancy. Oh, I'm John. Who are you? What do you do? How are you? Let's hear from you. We need you. We're gonna some.
That's it. Yvonne. That's it. Yvonne was looking like confused, so I presume this is not a show from his childhood.
No, it isn't. Which show was this one?
This is Zoom, which was a PBS show in the 1970s. The
Gosh, but I
PBS
watched all the
kids show from the
PBS. Yeah,
1970s.
well, here's the thing. It sounded familiar, but I guess it's not one of the ones that was one of my top choices because
It's got a bunch of kids running around doing stuff, and the big thing was they had SAZEs, self-addressed stamped envelopes. You could send in a self-addressed stamped envelope to get some stuff from them, and blah blah blah. It's yeah, it was a 70s kid show. PBS.
I must admit. Let's see, what year was this from?
It started in 72, which was a little bit early even for us, but
okay,
but it was on for a long time.
Well, 72 through 78. Interesting, but I look, I religiously watched every PBS show when I was little, and that show was not on our PBS feed in Puerto Rico.
Oh well. You missed out.
I missed out.
You're gonna have to like find all the episodes on YouTube and watch them now.
Oh yeah, I got plenty of time for that right now. Sure. Look, I had a friend of mine yesterday.
Oh, by the way, this is Curmudgeon's Corner. Welcome to Curmudgeon's Corner. Saturday, October 25th, just after 16 UTC as we're starting to record. I'm Sam Minter. This is Yvonne. Okay, continue, Yvonne.
I had a friend of mine yesterday from HP. This is one of the first people I met when I started working at HP, and this was like in June of 1997. Okay, this was just coincidental. The reason I met him, we wound up just being assigned. I was an intern. They gave me this cube, and he was he was relocating from Venezuela to Miami at the time for a job. He's I think about 5 years older than I am, so he'd already been working at HP for a while. Okay, he had started very young, in his early 20s, and
okay,
he had gotten a promotion. He had been doing work basically in like what he used to do was warranty repair work, basically. I mean, you know, the entire warranty supply chain and managing partners and doing stuff, especially in like Latin America, Caribbean, a lot more complex to do those there than in the U.S. For the repairs. A lot of times you had to get local companies to do a lot of the work, so you had to hire a local company that you could trust. Import parts, export parts, do all this stuff. So it was a mess. So he became pretty a guru on that stuff, and he was pretty good. And they decided to relocate him to Miami to this business. And so he wound up. So we get assigned. When we moves there, our cubes are one right beside the other. Me starting as an intern, and him there. And so we've known each other now. So it's like what? Jesus, 28 years.
Just a little while.
Yeah, just a little while. And so, you know, and we've always kept in touch regularly, but we hadn't seen each other. We hadn't met in a while. So we got together after work yesterday. And he works at a company that had some, for Latin America, that had some major IT outage this week. You know?
Yeah, I wonder who that could be. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's like if you look in the news, you can figure out which company that is. Doing kind of the same thing with partners and stuff. And so I was discussing with them the fact that you know, they still work remotely in their geography. He's based over here, but
bastards.
But
okay, yes.
There's the but. Okay,
yes.
I'll give you the but. They have a new regional VP, and that person is based in Brazil now. And this person has recently decided that she doesn't want to have staff in Miami that she wants all her staff in Brazil, and so they told him if if he wanted to continue in his role, that he needed to relocate to Brazil.
Right.
Uh, uh, you know, he's a few years ahead of me and saving money. His kids already work. His wife worked a long time at this, and like the company where she was at, which it's kind of funny. She worked at Nortel, but she worked at Nortel up until basically it. She was one of the last employees left at Nortel before it was really finally sold off. And then the
Okay.
company that bought Nortel bought their assets was Ericsson. Now, initially she was paid a severance and dismissed, but the Ericsson people were like, "Holy shit, she's the only person that knows this shit. Could call her? Could we hire you to come over to Ericsson like very quickly, like less than a month after?" So then she worked for Ericsson until not long ago. So she wound up retiring. So he was like, "Screw this, I'm retiring." He's turning 60 now, and he was like, "The hell with this. I'm taking." I told him that he's going to retire at the end of December, rather than relocate to Brazil for work.
Nice.
So that was my conversation yesterday. So it's one of those things where I'm like, well, he's asking me, so what are you guys doing? Nothing. I mean, our company hates offices. They don't want to. They don't want to spend the money on. Hell, they got to spend money on data centers, billions of it. They don't want to buy a damn office right now. What the hell am I buying a damn office for? They just need to spend $100 billion building data centers. The last thing I want is like freaking real estate for people sitting in a cube. That's what it seems like the attitude is. But anyway.
Nice.
I was curious that was the conversation that I had yesterday. But one thing is interesting though, with him, the way I got to interact with him first was so we moved over from Venezuela, and so he smoked back then. He quit smoking quite a long time ago. Okay,
good,
he quit smoking
good.
like a couple of years. But he quit smoking in the night. Okay, all right. So, but the thing is, me in Venezuela, he did not smoke American cigarettes. He smoked Venezuelan cigarettes. There's this brand. I never forget the brand called Belmont. The reason why, why do I remember this is because, they knew he was sitting right beside me. So what happened was that you couldn't get those cigarettes in the U.S. So people were traveling frequently back and forth to Venezuela, and they
dropping off the cigarettes.
And dropping off the cigarettes. So, but he wasn't at his desk. They were like, didn't want to just leave him there and said, "Hey, Tony's out. Here, hold these for him. Give them to him when he gets back." So I was being the cigarette delivery courier for him at first. And I'm like, so when he arrived, it's like, "Hey, Tony, hey, yeah, they dropped off these boxes for you." "Oh, okay, great, thank you." So I was the cigarette delivery guy for him.
You should have just made that your new career. Could have moved into that full time.
You know what? Listen, I mean, obviously that's a declining career. We're looking at, it's crazy how cigarette smoking rates in the United States
have been plummeting for decades now.
Plummeting, yeah. But it's like, I mean, it's plummeted in so much. I mean, it's down to like.
Of course, we did have like an upswing in vaping. Yeah, not as much as the downswing,
but not as much. It really, I mean. But I can't remember what country, and I shared the story that I was like reading about this week, where regarding cigarettes, where I can't remember what country. Oh, is Lebanon. Lebanon has had a massive upswing in smoking. It's crazy, and not just that. Well, the result of this has been that Lebanon also, not just due to the smoking, but to other environmental factors like that massive explosion that they had and some other shit or whatever, has had a ridiculous upswing in cancer. I mean, cancer right now in Lebanon is soaring uncontrollably.
Okay.
And so, but I got to meet the guys like this week is kind of interesting. I realize that it's been, Jesus Christ, what the fuck, 20? I mean, I was like trying to count, like, how many damn years is this shit? I'm
It
getting
keeps
really
adding up, and I don't like it.
No, not particularly. No, not at all. And here's the other fucked up conversation that this kind of aging starts. So, talking about, hey, where people are going to retire and whatever. So there is a group of XHP people that I haven't. Look, we got one guy who was our VP who's suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's. Okay, which that's really rough. Okay, to see. Okay,
Yeah.
right. He told me that I hadn't seen him, but I've talked to a couple of other people and telling me that he sees you and he kind of like remembers you, but he doesn't know anybody's name anymore. Okay, which that's fucked up. Okay, he's 70. He's not really that.
He's
70
not that
something.
old. Yeah.
Not that old, but something has really impacted his health. But that all these guys are also looking at all these 55 plus communities like right now to buy houses into. Okay, to go. I'm like, oh yeah, because there's this cheap place up in Port St. Lucie, 55 plus, where you can get whatever. But I'm like, no, I'm not fucking buying a goddamn house at a 55.
You know,
Fuck this shit. I don't want to move into an old people's prison camp. No.
well, yeah. Well, you know, here's the thing. Like, I can understand my dad just moved into one of these places that starts as an apartment, but as you need more care, can transition into giving you more and more care as you get older.
But he's
I can understand that, right? Because it's about, you know, hey, you know, you're getting older, you know, you're physically diminishing in various ways, and you are going to need more care, and it provides a smooth transition, but lets you have as much independence as you can, as long as you can, right?
Okay.
And I understand that. That makes a lot of sense. I like it. I've been to the place. You know, it's cool. But absent that, the age-restricted communities, yeah, it seems like it would be the opposite of what you want. You want to be in a community where you have younger people and you have kids and it's all mixed and you have all experiences together. And
Yeah.
I feel like that would keep you young more than surrounding yourself with a bunch of other old people.
Other old fucks. Yes, that's right. I mean, I want some mix in ages. I don't want to be just surrounded by a whole bunch of old fucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree completely. I feel
So
like, and it's one of those things that especially, I mean, you can speak to international trends, but in the US, the tendency is to like go hide your old people so you don't see them anymore.
That isn't what you see, but that's the thing. That's the thing. That's not. We don't do that. Okay. As a matter of fact, what we have more is like cross generational. You know, households more than,
Right.
than going and hiding the old people. Like my aunt, both my aunts, they still live in the same house that they lived since I've known them since I was born. You know, in their age, it's still the same house. My grandma lived in her house up until she was in her 90s, and then when she was too old to be by herself, she moved in with my mom.
Right.
You know, so she was like, so we could see her. I mean, I could see her regularly, like every week. You know, I was able to see her all the time. You know, so yeah, like my sister's mother-in-law, she lives in a house across the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's more of you know what I'm used to. I don't want to like really be like I don't know. Now, granted, I do live a little bit like uh, I don't live like I don't live like in another state, but I do live like about 30 miles away from where my parents and my sister live and so forth. But I mean, it's
30
not
miles
that
isn't
far
that
either.
far.
No,
Like you
30
see
miles
them
is not that
regularly.
far. I see them regularly. Yeah. I see them all the time. So that's not like you know I do see them regularly. So you know, but I don't want to be like in this community where I live is quite a mixed group of ages. We have old retired people, well, we have college age college students. Like, I just, right, we had like a couple of ladies that lived right across from us, and their parents, like from California, had bought they started going to college over here, and so they had bought a condo for them, and so I knew them for about 5 years. And the one thing is that they moved out. They left us a very grateful note because they were like actually extremely grateful that they had us as neighbors because shit happened. Her parents lived in California, right? And they actually they were so grateful. It's like anytime that we needed something from your wife, you guys were always so graceful. You helped us out with stuff or whatever. So it was kind of nice, and it was kind of nice. Honestly, it was super nice to see them grow up into adults, get a job, and they just moved out because they got a new job and they're relocating for that job, and that was actually quite nice to see that. To be honest, and
Mhm.
it's kind of like I honestly I like seeing that shit instead of just seeing. Unfortunately, we had another couple like from in front of us that unfortunately their husband passed away. But you get I think we get both of them. Yes, we're getting the older people that also pass well at the same time as seeing people like do that. I like to see that diversity. I don't just want to see. I just want to be in a place where everything would go like down over coffee. It's like, hey, who died this morning? Oh, John over at 702. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the
it's
thing.
depressing after a while.
Well, the thing is about having the mixed ages and everybody together, and and honestly, I'm not great at this because I never see anybody outside my whole house practically. Like, I don't go out, I don't see my neighbors, I don't like interact with them on a regular basis. But the advantage that I could see anyway is you see the whole life cycle. You
Right.
see kids, you see them grow up, you see
Yep.
new babies being born. And yes, on the other hand, you see people getting older and people passing away. And it centers you in, this is what life is. You can't pretend that whatever your stage of life is the only stage of life.
Right. We're all just not die. Everything that's happened is that we are old and just all dropping dead. So anyway, so I that was like just
Okay. So I got a couple things. I will do a movie, but I have one thing first, so I'll only do one movie today.
I keep forgetting that I
Yes.
should have done a movie, and I did not do.
Oh,
this.
okay. Do your movie.
I went to see Tron Ares.
Ah, okay. Yes, I've heard mixed reviews of this. I know you said on the Slack you liked it, but I've heard mixed reviews online.
Okay, this is what I will say about this. First of all, my wife, my son, and I, we all went to see the movie.
Right.
I hear
Did you refresh yourself by watching the first two first?
We had watched them in the last year, even before. We watched that movie regularly, so it's not like
Even the second one, you've watched both of them. Okay.
Yes. So we my son likes the second one more than the first one. Okay, and the second one is actually a better movie as entertaining.
I mean,
the first it was a better. The script was far more developed. Okay, whereas the first one was more showier, but still a good script. I think both had a good script, but the second one had a better pace for of the movie. Okay, I think the first one gets kind of the same criticisms as the first Star Trek: The Motion Picture kind of a
yes.
thing.
It's showing off the look and the idea more than it is like here's the actual.
Which I like Star Trek: The
characters and
Motion
plot.
Picture, the original movie, myself. So I don't have a problem with the pacing. Although, as I said before, the latest director's edition that he did tighten up the pacing quite a lot on it, and it actually made it for a better movie. Okay. All right. But I liked the original anyway. Okay, but I can see how a lot of people didn't.
Okay, back to Tron.
But listen, my wife went as well. I will. My wife really liked the movie. Okay.
Okay.
And my wife is not a Tron fan. She knows that me and Manu like Tron, but she went and just watched the movie and came out of it really liking the movie. Okay. And I think that a lot of people that are shitting on the movie, first it starts with the fact that Jared Leto is a controversial actor because I get what I, as far as I can understand, because I wasn't following this closely. is related to a whole bunch of Me Too stuff, okay, as well, that apparently I saw, okay, but that I granted I don't recall me having seen a Jared Leto movie before. I'll be honest,
I
and
know
so
nothing about him or his
I
scandal.
exactly. So I knew. So me coming into this, I did not have this, in my head that there was such a scandal about it. Um,
Yeah, I just brought up his Wikipedia page, and I'm like, I don't even recognize this guy. I have no
no,
idea.
I exactly. I didn't recognize the guy at all, and I thought that the movie was quite good. The plot was really good. A, a timely plot. It really did tie back in many ways to to the other movies, even though the ties itself were it did tie back. There is one plot gap that's kind of difficult in there. Okay, all right, that is the only gap really. Okay, that you just don't. It's difficult you don't understand it. There is a some kind of throwaway explanation that's thrown in there, but it's not clear how we got to from. And I guess I should warn, this is a spoiler alert at this
Oh,
point.
spoiler!
How
I'll close my ears.
in Tron Legacy we had, Kevin Flynn was the guy from the original movie who was who was really the guy who was the head of NCOM, who was who was the main star of the first film. Let's be clear about this. Flynn was the star of the movie Tron. It wasn't Tron, which also brings back to why the hell this movie called Tron, okay, instead of Flynn. And I'm going to guess because it sounds cooler, okay? Because the reality is that Tron was more of a secondary character.
Well, and it's the cool computer guy, not like the regular human.
Exactly. So this was
like the whole thing. Like if you'd named the movie Flynn, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know it doesn't work. Okay, all right, I get that. So that was the one thing. Okay,
it's like calling Star Wars Luke.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of like that. So yeah. So it was just that you didn't. You had Kevin Flynn. Sam Flynn appeared in the second movie as his son, who was went to try to find. Investigate about where his dad was, who disappeared, and there was a clue that came in that allowed them to go to find him in the grid. But in this third movie, at the end of the second movie, Sam Flynn came back to out of the grid and brought back a life form that was an amalgam of human and technology. Okay. All right, and
I watched the second movie, but I have no memories of it at all.
And they rode off in the sunset, and that was that. When this other movie starts, it appears that Sam disappeared, quit the company, and they named this other person as CEO. But what you don't understand is why that is. Why was it this person? It's just not clear. Okay, but what you know is that the person that Sam Flynn disappeared. And it's this other person that has no relationship with either of them. Okay, but skipping that, but in the movie it explains, well, Sam Flynn disappeared and they named her CEO.
Okay,
but it doesn't really delve into that. But look, the movie, the action was good, the idea was well executed, the special effects look great. And at the end, by the way, they did tie everything together in a certain way that, by the way, leads you to. Well, they left it. Obviously, it depends if Disney decides to make.
They left it open for another sequel.
Yeah. They left it completely open and tied everything together.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in a certain way that you didn't understand at first, but then everything actually, at the end, did come together in a certain way. I look, my wife, my son, me, all thought the movie's great. What I've seen is that people that have watched the Tron series love the movie.
Okay.
And that didn't have they love the movie. A lot of people, you get people, it's like, well, why isn't Tron in the movie? Now there is a good question about that because it could Tron could, they could have had Tron in the movie, but again, even in Tron Legacy, Tron was just a peripheral presence in the movie. He wasn't really, a central character to the plot. Okay.
Right.
So, that didn't really faze me. Okay, about that. It's just that was, look, even if you don't follow the series, that movie was enjoyable. It was pretty cool. It's worth a watch. I would recommend to go see it.
Thumbs up from Yvonne.
Thumbs up from me and everybody in the house.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the critical receptions section on Wikipedia, and it sounds like at almost all of the places that do this, let's see, Rotten Tomatoes 53%, Metacritic 48 out of 100, Cinema Score gives it a B+. So there you go.
But by the way, I think that the reception to Tron Legacy was very similar as well. This is not a movie for everybody, and a lot of people go to a movie and they just don't like it. But I think that
you think for the people who liked the previous two movies, they'll like this one too.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes.
Okay. So I have, like I said, I will do one movie, but before I do the movie, some podcast announcements. Bum, bum, bum. So number one is I've been mentioning that I was going to do this for a long time, but I finally did. The Curmudgeon's Corner Blue Sky account is now actually active and posting. So, so if it's just curmudgeons-corner.com on Blue Sky. It doesn't have one of those BSKY things. It's the domain name. So you can follow Curmudgeon's Corner on Blue Sky, and it automatically posts when we start our live streams and when new episodes come out. And I am also manually now posting on there the same video clips I'm posting on TikTok. Okay. So you can get the, and I'm still like a month behind or something posting those video clips. So as we are recording this, the last clips I posted were from, I believe, the September 20th show, something like that, maybe 26th. Let me, I have to be accurate, so I must say this. Let's see. September 20th. And the last clips I posted were from the September 20th episode. By the time I put this out, you'll probably have some from the next show after that. But I am doing that, so follow us on Blue Sky. Hubbub has stopped recording. Something went wrong.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, I've got something went wrong and they're not being recorded anymore. Everybody else is still being recorded. Ask Hubbub to refresh, then rejoin from a regular browser, not incognito.
Yeah, that was strange.
Welcome back. Okay, let me note that so I know when I'm editing.
That was odd. I'm not sure what happened.
Okay. Anyway, I'm posting the video clips on Blue Sky, the episode announcements, all that kind of stuff. Follow us on Blue Sky. Where the Mastodon also gets the episode announcements. So follow us there if you're there instead. I'm not posting the video clips on Mastodon. I guess that you can do that, but whatever. And I'm still posting on TikTok. I have still not linked to the TikTok because TikTok officially is still in flux. There's stuff going on. Who knows what's going to happen with TikTok? I don't know. I may get to it eventually. And TikTok, it may, you've heard all the stuff. It may get acquired in a new US version of the app, blah, blah, blah. Who knows if I'll continue with that or not. Anyway, so the videos are now on Blue Sky. So that's announcement number one. Announcement number two is that as part of doing this, I refreshed the Curmudgeon's Corner website a little bit. Specifically, all the Blue Sky contacts are on there now, as well as Mastodon. To make it a little bit more parallel, I made the Facebook links the same. So for Mastodon, Blue Sky, and Facebook, there are links to not only the Curmudgeon's Corner accounts, but to both me and Yvonne personally. And then the big thing for
Big.
the webpage
Big.
that
Big.
that people have been
Big.
clamoring for.
Clamoring.
And on the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack, specifically.
I mean, so that's why there were people on the streets last Saturday. That was it.
It was, they're very excited. John on the Slack asked for this. Some other people have asked for this. There is now a link. So without joining our Patreon, you can directly buy the mug. You can buy the Curmudgeon's Corner mug.
There you go.
If you go to the website, it says mug : and it has a little Zazzle icon because Zazzle is who we use to do the mugs. You can click on that. You can go straight through and buy the mug. And if people do buy the mug, we get a small kickback from that, from Zazzle. Zazzle.
You're learning from Trump, huh? Getting kickbacks.
Well,
already,
not completely, because Zazzle lets you pick how much of a kickback you get. And there's a certain level that if you go above that level, you can go as high as you want. You can say the base cost of the mug is $12, but our kickback is 50. Or 100 or whatever. Like
Trump watch levels. Yes.
Yeah. No, but I did not do that. There's a certain level that they don't recommend you go past, and they take an extra fee for themselves if you go above that level. I went as high as you could go without them taking their extra fee. So the mugs are what are they? $13.16.
Oh, there you go.
And I think we get $1 out of that or something. I don't even know. So if you want a Curmudgeon's Corner mug and have not earned one,
this will ameliorate our losses
or being on the show.
All this does is ameliorate our losses.
Despite recent increases to the Patreon, thank you, Emily. We still run at a loss every month. So
by the way, and the loss that you're looking at doesn't include how much I'm paying for Slack.
I know you added the Slack payment. On top of the Slack payment, I've got let's see, what do we pay at the moment? We pay for Riverside, we pay for Auphonic, we pay for DreamHost for hosting, and we pay for Slack at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
And our own time.
And our own time.
Yes. So none of what comes in exchange adds up to even one of those services I listed, let alone all of them.
We cannot do like my friend and plan our retirement right now by December 31st.
Unless you are out there right now and want to join our Patreon, there is on the website, there is a link to our Patreon with all kinds of benefits. And if instead of the $25 that it used to $25 a month that it used to get, I mean, you can still get a mug for $25 a month, but if you really want a mug, you can buy one for $13, plus shipping. And Zazzle's shipping is not trivial. It's not free shipping. They add in some stupid shipping.
So
cost.
For $100,000 a month,
yes,
then we're in business.
Exactly. So we will do that. Anyway, no, absent that. Anyway, bottom line out of all this, my whole point was here. The Curmudgeon's Corner Blue Sky is now active and posting on a regular basis. I had created the account 9 months ago or something, but it hadn't posted a damn thing till a week ago. But it is now active and posting, and you can now go to the website and directly order a Curmudgeon's Corner mug if you so wish. You can still get a mug by joining our Patreon at I think it's the $20 level, 25. And now I'm gonna have to actually say what all the levels are at our Patreon. So the levels, the tiers on our Patreon, membership. Okay, here we go.
Not crying tears. You mean tears levels?
Yes. Although you can cry, you are permitted to cry during the show. It is often warranted. No, at $1 a month, we will mention you at $1 a month, we will mention you and thank you on the show. At $2 a month, we will also invite you to the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack, which we also give away for free if you just ask. For $5 a month, we ring a bell. For $10 a month, we will send you a postcard. And for $20 a month, we will send you a mug. Now, we also do have a $50 a month tier. which no one has ever done. For that, we will invite you to record a 30 to 90-second audio clip on almost any topic you like. We reserve the right to reject obscene or offensive content, which we will play on the show in the next episode.
I mean, if the content is just insulting us, we'll probably be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just saying, like, you guys suck, terrible show, I don't know why the hell I donated, blah, 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 we're fine.
Yeah, and look, I made up these tiers when we first set up the Patreon ages ago. I know they're somewhat unrealistic tiers. They are basically a tip jar for us. We've also had the request on multiple occasions, can I just give you a one-time thing instead of a subscription? And I've given people, like, a PayPal or whatever, and ways to do that. But maybe one day I'll put that on the site too, like just a one-time tip jar mechanism, because I understand I don't like subscriptions either. And especially, like, I don't, $20 a month for a mug. I mean, whatever. It's not about the mug. Now you can also get the mug from being on the show. If you're actually on the show with us, I will send you a mug for that as well. I didn't do that at first, but I've done that for the last few years whenever somebody joins us on the show. Anyway, that's that. Any thoughts on that before I jump into my movie, Yvonne?
Jump into the movie. Go.
Jump! I'm jumping. Oh, my. Oh, I will say on the...
Don't hurt yourself.
I will not hurt myself. I mentioned the videos I post on TikTok. The very last one I got on TikTok did also get a decent amount of people commenting on it and such, including some MAGA folks and some whatevers, and some people defending us against the MAGA folks, and it just, of course, I have yet to be convinced that this translates into people actually listening to the podcast itself.
I doubt it.
Yeah. I mean, it takes extra work. You have to figure it out.
Well, think about, it's not just that. Think about, look, you watch these clips from certain shows a lot of time that you like, and you even like the clips a lot. But that doesn't necessarily translate into you watching the show.
No, absolutely. Like, I mean, I'll tell you right now, like, it has been years since I have actually watched in its entirety any of the late night talk shows, Saturday Night Live, The Daily Show, any of these. Now, do I see clips from them on a regular basis? Yes, I do.
Right.
Just because they show up in my social media feeds.
Yeah, but you don't watch the show.
I don't watch the shows. I don't know. And like the thought of doing so is even like, really? Ridiculous. Why would I do that?
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's preposterous. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, movie. I'll only do one. I'm never going to catch up on these damn things. But Hairspray from 1988. I knew absolutely nothing about this movie coming into it. I mean, I knew it was a musical. I gotta
say, look, I don't think I've watched it either. I think I may have, like, because that was one of those movies. 1988 was a time when, like, that was around the time when I used to subscribe to all the movie channels, right?
Okay.
So I'm sure that I know that flipping through channels, it must have been on at some point. And I'm sure that I saw a little bit. But the moment I realized it's a musical, I'm like, okay, I'm out. Next.
Right. Yeah.
So I have no idea. It sounds like something that happened in a beauty salon.
And it's not.
Okay, so there you go. You see, I mean, how wrong am I? I just proved my point that I have no clue about it either.
And and the only thing I knew it was a musical, and I guess it was based on a Broadway musical. Oh no, wait, it was a movie musical first, and then it was adapted into a Broadway musical. It usually goes the other way around.
Yeah, almost always.
Yeah, so no, this was it was a 1988 movie. And in 2002, it was adapted for Broadway. And there was a second movie version in 2007. I watched the 1988 version, not the 2007 version.
Okay.
So I will start with the first couple paragraphs of the description and go from there. In 1962 Baltimore, overweight teenager Tracy Turnblad dreams of appearing on The Corny Collins Show, a popular local television program featuring a council of teenagers dancing to popular songs. So, like, think American Bandstand.
Sure.
Okay. One night, she and her best friend, Penny Pingleton, sneak out to a record hop emceed by the show's host, Corny Collins. Though the event is segregated, she impresses guest judge Motormouth Maybelle Stubbs, who co-hosts the program's monthly Negro Day. After Tracy and her partner Fender win that night's dance contest, narrowly beating council dancers Amber Von Tussle, the show's reigning queen, and a mean, conventionally attractive high school classmate whose racist parents, Velma and Franklin, own Tilted Acres Amusement Park, which bans African Americans, and her boyfriend, Link Larkin. Corny invites her to audition for the program at the WZZT television studio the next day, inspiring her to bleach, tease, and rat her big hair. At the audition, Penny nervously stumbles over her answers, and another girl is cut for being black. Tracy's dance moves and stellar performance during the mock interview challenge earn her a spot on the council, beginning with that afternoon's taping. After mocking Tracy's weight, Amber is suspended for the day by Corny. The one thing you will have noticed, even from these first couple paragraphs, is it talks about race. It talks about segregation in the 1960s. And this is one thing, like,
if this movie came out now, like, what the hell, man? I mean, it'd be like a MAGA, like MAGA.
No.
Protesting in front of the.
Oh yeah, MAGA would be protesting, right? I thought you were going to say they would like it. No,
they would be protesting
because it exists.
Yes.
No, and this is the thing that, like, again, knowing nothing about this, I was actually surprised because
I'm shocked.
It had serious themes.
I thought that this was just some dumb musical.
Right. And like you, I was like, okay, it's Hairspray. They're going to be like at a salon or something, like you said.
Right. I was not even remotely close to what the hell this movie's about.
Well, and even when they start talking about, like, oh, okay, they're going on like this American Bandstand type show, I was like, oh, okay, light and frothy, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets into segregation and the effects of segregation on the people. And then the spoilers here, essentially the majority of the movie is their efforts to desegregate this dance show on TV and how that effort plays out. And, there are police involved at various points. There's a riot. People get injured.
Okay, well, question.
Yes.
Okay, well, then now this is very confusing. Going back to what I talked about, why Tron is called Tron, but it's got very little to do with Tron. What the hell is it called? Hairspray.
Well, I did mention that, to get ready for audition, she bleached, teased, and ratted her big hair. And and so, like,
okay.
No, I'd say the same thing. Look, it's probably a big part of it is exactly.
I guess the title "Bandstand Racism" isn't like doesn't really roll off the tip of the tongue.
I think that's part of it, and also you want to get people in who aren't necessarily expecting the heavy message.
No, exactly. That's what it won't. They won't buy. They won't buy the other one isn't attractive, and it doesn't roll off the tip of the tongue. It's like you said, like call the movie Flynn.
Right.
Kind of sucked.
Anyway, it is a musical. It is highly stylized. It's not intended to be like realistic, but it does hit the more serious themes, and it surprised me. Like it was not what I was expecting coming in.
I'm okay. Is this not what I expected in any way, shape, or form?
And so yeah, in the end, I'm giving it a thumbs up. It's not like I don't remember any of the damn songs, like, so I can't tell you that, like, it hit me in that way.
You were blown away by the song.
Yeah, no,
something.
So I wasn't blown away by the songs. I don't remember the songs. I don't remember a lot of details, but I really remember the transition from, oh crap, this isn't going to be like light and fluffy.
It's not a light and fluffy. This is a serious fucking film. Damn.
And I remember enjoying it. And at the end, when it ends, you feel all the right emotions and etc. I'll also mention a few members of the cast that you might recognize. Sonny Bono is in it.
No.
Ricky Lake. You remember Ricky Lake?
God, yes. Holy shit.
Jerry Stiller.
Wow.
Those are the ones I really knew. Apparently, it has Divine in it, who I didn't really know, but apparently is well known, and a few other people. But those are the ones that I recognized, and specifically Ricky Lake. I was like, what? What? Like, I haven't heard that name in decades. Did a talk show.
Quite a long time ago.
Quite a long time ago. Late, I guess. When did she do the talk show? Is 80s?
Had to be the 90s, 80s.
Let's see. Talk show. Ricky Lake. Yeah, you're right. 90s. 93 to 2004. The Ricky Lake show was on.
Yeah, sounded about
and
right.
And she's close to our age. She's 57.
Fuck, really?
Yeah, Ricky Lake is
she would be
57.
a lot older. So wait a minute, Ricky Lake. So wait, she started a show basically at about the same age as we left college.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow. But by the way, but she apparently was an actress because think about it. She did that movie in what, 88? So she was like 19. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so
no,
she was
1920. Yeah, she was born in 68. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's 1920, yeah.
And she was in a few movies, it looks like, and a couple TV
so
shows as well as her
so
show.
she was somebody who was
she wasn't an A-list actor. She wasn't
but she was around, yeah.
Anyway, thumbs up to Hairspray. More for the themes than the movie itself, I guess, but it was fun as a movie too. I don't remember the songs, but I remember them being non-objectionable. I remember the
always the song review that you want to get from your audience. Hey, how was my concert? I was non-objectionable. I can't even say it. Whatever. the stars looking at you like, oh, that's. I'm glad.
I remember liking.
I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't retch and vomit at my songs. Thank you.
Yes. I remember also liking sort of. It was 1960s but stylized, and so I remember noticing the colorful outfits and the 1960s look and sort of the, just the 1960s vibe. But it was like, upped. So it wasn't a realistic, gritty 1960s. It was like I'm not quite. It's not like watching the original Batman TV series like that.
Okay.
But it's still like, a colorful, amped up, sort of cartoonish version, but mixed in with the serious themes. So anyway, thumbs up for that. Shall we take a break and get on to our serious stuff?
Yes, let's take a breaky. Breaky.
Okay, this one. Okay, there we are. So, Yvonne, you usually do the first segment. What are your top topics in this amazing week where we've had, things happen?
Oh, God, I'm getting like heartburn just thinking about it. I'm looking at this shit.
At our lovely list that we maintain throughout the week. He looks so excited. So excited.
You know. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up because I don't know much about this, and it seems like I think that you do know more
I
about
do.
this.
Oh no.
It's about the main Senate thing. Okay?
The main Senate thing.
Yeah, can you explain to me what is going on with the main? Jesus Christ, I don't know, whatever. Sorry about that. Can you explain what's going on with the main Senate? I mean, I listen. All I know, this is. I will give you my.
I probably don't
what
know
I
a lot more, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I will just say what I'm pretty sure you know more than I do.
Okay.
Okay.
And if not, I'll just make shit up.
Well, that's great, perfect. We would be very 2025. Okay, by doing that.
I'll ask ChatGPT.
Yeah. So what is what? Okay. All I know is that there is some Democrat, right, that's running for the primary to be the nominee for Senate for Maine, which people think is a winnable seat at this point. And apparently this guy had a tattoo on his chest, and it was a Nazi symbol. And then apparently he said that he removed the tattoo or something.
Something.
And then I guess that some chats or some stuff about him appeared to show that he was just throwing around Nazi shit, just like the young Republicans that we heard about the other time.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all I know.
Okay, you are close to what I know already, but let's go into a little bit more. So first of all, yes, this is Susan Collins' seat in Maine. They're up in 2026. She is considered one of the most vulnerable Republicans because, generally speaking, Maine has gone Democrat on a statewide level for a while now. Yeah. They split their votes in the Electoral College the last couple times around because they're one of the two states that can do that. And they have continued to elect her as a Republican for Senate for a while now. But it's considered gettable because she's
because she's a fucking sellout. I mean, that's it. I mean, every time that something comes up that is horrible, her default, it's now a comedy skit.
It's not just that. I was going to say,
I am deeply concerned. Oh, I am extremely concerned. Now I am disturbingly concerned. Do something, bitch.
I was actually gonna, it's not quite as dramatic as the situation, but I was gonna compare her to Manchin in West Virginia. She is a Republican leftover in a state that has moved blue, as opposed to a Democratic leftover in a state that has moved red.
But even Manchin voted for some Democratic shit and protected some important shit like the ACA, whereas she voted for these psychopathic fucking nominees.
For most of the time, she votes with the Republicans. Every once in a while, she votes with the Democrats on something. So it's kind of, the difference is that Maine hasn't gone as far blue as West Virginia has gone red, but she's still one of those people who are, in a position where her state has moved and she hasn't necessarily. But she's one of the last remaining people who, is considered one of those swing Republicans that actually sometimes goes with the Democrats on something. Okay. Right. Even though, as you said, she's constantly saying she's concerned. She's
deeply concerned.
She's vote
Extremely concerned.
She says Roe versus Wade is important for her, but she votes for the judge that's obviously going to get rid of it. You know,
Exactly.
because they told her, like, maybe they wouldn't.
They promised because we promise you we won't.
Right. Anyway, all this kind of stuff. So she's gettable. So there is a primary on the Democratic side. There are all sorts of people running. So on the Democratic side, let's see. The guy we're talking about is Graham Planter. He's been the front runner.
You see, that's one thing. Yeah, I listen. If right now you had said Ivan for $50,
What's his name?
name the guy in Maine that is a controversy, I would have struck out.
Right. But we've also got David Costello, Tucker Favreau, Daria Smith Rodriguez.
What the hell? Well,
Yes. Daria Smith Rodriguez, Jordan Wood, and just within the last 2 weeks, jumping in, the current governor of Maine, Janet Mills. Now, let's hit this a little bit. Graham Planter, who all this controversy is about, had been gaining lots of momentum.
Well, the last poll that I saw, which was before all of this came out, he was over 50%. What was his appeal? By the way, why was he the front runner? What was his bona fides?
Well, interestingly enough, given what we're about to talk about Nazi tattoos, was he was getting popular with the progressive crowd. He was endorsed by Bernie Sanders. He was endorsed by Ro Khanna. He was endorsed by David Hogg, if you remember him, and a few other people on those lines. And he was making a lot of sort of progressive noises that made the left side of the Democratic Party very happy. Also, he was just being direct and outspoken. And, like we've talked about other candidates, he was sort of, directly attacking Trump and hitting some of the national issues while also rooting things locally. People were talking about, there were some comparisons to Fetterman before he went crazy, in terms of he's got sort of the look of a guy who might appeal to sort of right or wing or moderate MAGA folks and may be able to convert a few of them because he's
actually it's not MAGA people. The kind of people that these people appear to are the more low information voters that sometimes, because they have been raised in some conservative environment, they kind of always oh well, I was raised Republican, I'm going to vote Republican. They're low information, so they won't do it. But this is the kind of voter that would appeal to him because it sounds like it's like he's like one of them. And so when he's talking, he's like, oh, I this guy, I relate to this guy. Okay, great.
And part of his appeal was military, masculine, whatever. Had that kind of macho guy kind of look, but still had sort of your progressive opinions on social issues and other things like that. And so he was getting a lot. I mentioned some of the endorsements, but also like other Democratic senators like Elizabeth Warren, Chris Murphy, Sheldon Whitehouse, have also.
So he had a good.
They didn't endorse outright, but they expressed support.
They supported him. Okay, yeah, sure.
And,
sounds like a good. Okay.
And so he was gaining lots and lots of momentum. Now, a lot of establishment Democrats were like, "Uh-oh, we can't have this. He's gonna be too far left, or he's gonna have other issues, and we're just gonna if we run this guy, we're gonna end up with Susan Collins winning again. She's gonna pull out the win." And because this guy may be appealing to certain parts of our party, but he can't win a general election. That was their take on him, and they generally were unhappy with them. And maybe they knew some of this stuff that was going to come out. Now, because they were actively trying to recruit Janet Mills, who is the Democratic governor of Maine. And she's term limited, so she can't stay on as governor longer. She has been around a long time. She is also 77 years old. So she's one of the people who like that. We've talked many times about sort of the Democratic age problem where, and I know you take the point of like, hey, if they're effective, age doesn't matter, whatever. However, the Democratic leadership is really top heavy with baby boomers or even silent generation who just won't let go. They're starting to, but that's still an issue. And so, okay, we got another like late 70s person who with a 6-year term would be in here into her age.
More my question is about her positions and how she has been. I mean, and how popular. Well, here's the thing, and I think
she is very popular in Maine.
You see, that's the thing. If she is a super popular governor in Maine, then obviously and this has happened before here in Florida, she would be the natural candidate to win that Senate seat. Look at fucking Rick Scott. That bastard, maybe wasn't the most popular governor, but he was governor, and that guy went and easily moved from being governor into winning the damn seat. And when you are able to do that, the reality is that I would say that just looking at the situation without really knowing the specifics, the reality is that is definitely gives you a far more winnable candidate for the campaign. Period. End of story.
And I think in terms of viewpoints and everything, as far as I know, she's a fairly mainline Democrat. Okay. Like she's not a progressive Democrat. But she's a fairly mainline, what you would expect of a Democrat who's been around for a while. Okay.
Can I be blunt one thing about what the hell defines a mainline Democrat versus a progressive Democrat these days? Because the other day I was listening to Bernie Sanders in an interview talking about this, and it's not the positions.
It's the attitude.
Yeah. That's it. It's a thing of like where Bernie says the system is completely broken. And I'm saying this is what he said for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And that the way to what we need to do is that we can't be timid by making, the way that the Democrats want to legislate where they make just changes when we need to destroy the whole thing. And that's what Trump understands. Okay?
Right. You can't make small incremental changes for, maybe you're improving it a little bit, but you have to address the underlying problems.
And he said, well, that's what Trump understands. The problem is that what Trump understands and what he's doing is that, Trump may be saying the system's broken, but the problem is that what he has is a disdain for the law and a disdain for everybody else. And I'm sorry, but if what you're telling me is that the way to make things work is to basically, wipe your ass with the law, with the rule of law. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's not a way to fix things either. Now, I do think that Democrats need to take what the law allows and be far more aggressive with it.
You need to push it as far as it'll go.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to push the limits of the law. Okay, that I am with, and they are not, and they have not, and that's been the problem because there were things that Biden could have done that were far more aggressive. In order to do certain things, and we just didn't do it. Okay,
right?
It just wasn't done. So that I agree with. But I don't.
Now, at least part of it is we did have Manchin and Sinema, which blocked a bunch of stuff.
Which blocked a whole bunch of stuff as well, because you couldn't even take it. Even if you took the limit and said, "Hey, we'll break the filibuster," it didn't happen because you didn't have enough. You didn't have enough senators. Right. Anyway, to get stuff, but other stuff like with the Supreme Court. And, going all the way and just say, fuck it, we'll pack the court. Go, you got to go more Roosevelt than we have. And Roosevelt did a lot of this, and he got pushed back. Okay, yep. He was super aggressive. I don't disagree that you got to be aggressive. But my point is,
well, if you remember, even on his court packing. basically the way that played out is he was going to nominate a whole bunch more judges without explicit legislation to expand the court or anything like that. He was just going to nominate more judges and see what would happen. And basically, this was because the Supreme Court was in the process of, they'd already done it on a few things and we're going to do it on more, push back a bunch of New Deal legislation and declare it unconstitutional.
Exactly.
And basically, with the threat of the court packing, the court backed down and agreed to compromises essentially and allowed things through. At least this is how I remember it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think your recollection.
And so
the
the court packing never actually came to the head in the end because you exerted the pressure.
Exactly. You exerted the damn pressure. That's the point. You can't just sit there. My whole thing, and like I said, progressive, this isn't about, you fucking put the positions out there. It isn't about the goddamn positions anymore.
They actually aren't that far off from each other. Even before, the biggest difference was incrementality versus big pop changes.
I think we're all agree on big pop changes.
At this point, certainly. I mean, I've made the argument before that you have to do certain things incrementally because otherwise you get all kinds of unintended consequences and backlash and all kinds of things. But at this point, certainly for the kinds of things we were talking about that Obama should have done, make new states, expand the court, etc. Things like that.
Just fuck it, man. Listen, just you gotta go take that playbook right now, and you gotta fucking basically. Whoever the hell wins, like right now, has to take you have to take you need to run on the anti-Project 2025 platform. Right. Basically, you go and you're saying, I'm undoing all of this shit. And by the way, we're going to undo it the same way this asshole did it.
And go further.
And fuck all of you.
I saw someone post on Blue Sky, and I'm going to be mad at myself because I don't remember who, that, we're going to solve this. The Democrats are going to figure out, like you said, the approach. And the approach is going to be hire some consultants to come up with a plan. The plan is healthcare and or jobs. And then we're going to do the same thing.
To be fair to Biden was very aggressive on a lot of things that he did compared to previous.
Well, he actually got more. I mean, he got more of the progressive priorities done than any president since LBJ.
Obama. Well, since LBJ. Yes, it's LBJ. And here's the one thing. For all the Bernie talk or whatever that he talks about, I'm sorry, but how much legislation has Bernie actually passed? So here's the thing, and that's the other thing. I'm like, look, my problem with him is that he's been very ineffectual. He's been super ineffectual. So I don't give a shit what show me during his track record, during his life. What has he accomplished? Okay, so that's my knock on him. He sure as hell can complain and rile up, but not actually get anything done.
So let's circle back to Maine.
Go back to the Maine. And the whole point was because you mentioned that they're trying to bring the governor who apparently did she officially throw her hat in the ring?
Yes,
at this point?
Her hat is now in the ring. She is now running. And this is where some of this stuff comes back into play, because the rumor is that everything we've been hearing about Nazi tattoo guy, whose name I already forgot, Graham Planter, is essentially Oppo research coming out of Mill's campaign.
Okay.
Which makes you think, like, was the mainstream opposition to this guy actually mostly, he's a progressive, or did they know some of this stuff and knew it would be a problem, right?
Sam, but okay, listen, I don't give a shit where this came out of.
Yeah.
I'm fucking sorry, okay? So because it came out of somebody else that the motherfucker was Nazi tatted on his fucking body doesn't make a fucking difference in the facts.
So let's go through some of the history. So before the tattoo stuff came out, what had started to come out was this guy apparently was a prolific poster on Reddit. And
Yeah,
And so
a
people,
platform of absolutely civil discourse and discussion. Yes, of course.
and so people, of course, started looking through his history. They found him making comments about, how, black people don't tip, and that kind of stuff. He made some comments basically defending how the military was not taking seriously accounts of sexual assault and rape in the military.
Yeah.
And,
A wholehearted progressive right here, buddy.
and basically saying, like, hey, the military is right to downplay this stuff. It's a bunch of, whiny women who should just suck it up, that kind of stuff.
Yes, just enjoy the rape. That's what they used to
Um,
say, right? Why don't you just calm down and enjoy
Now,
it?
what I said was not an exact quote.
No, but
basically,
I'm not doing an exact quote either.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but that is what I'm sorry. There are people that used to say that, Sam.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, there were comments like that were already out there, and he was already like defending them. And then the tattoo thing came out, and apparently the way he did this, he actually released it first. He got wind that somebody else was going to release it, so he went on some podcast. They played this video of him from a birthday party or whatever, and he was singing karaoke shirtless, and the tattoo was very visible, right? And so he brought this up, and it is apparently one of the well-known Nazi symbols. It's like a skull with wings or whatever. It is not a swastika. It is not the SS symbol, but this is apparently like number 3. Like if you were going down Nazis, symbolism and things that were used and that people are well known for. His argument, he said he had no idea what it was. It was just, he got it on a drunken night in the military, and it was a military thing, and it was about being in the unit he was in, et cetera, which, by the way, if true, is all problematic in and of itself, but whatever. He says he didn't know it was Nazi at the time. And once this pressure started coming up, he started talking about getting it removed. I saw one report, but I didn't see this talked about a lot more, that he did get a cover-up tattoo that also was something that tended to be used by white supremacists and such.
Yeah.
It's like, I haven't seen that. I saw some talk of it for a couple hours on the day, but then not much since. So I'm wondering, was it even true, or was it misinformation as well? I don't know. But then, I think it was K-File from CNN, just went looking at more of his Reddit posts and found him talking about that symbol that he had tattooed, that he denied he had any idea what it was, from several years ago, in a conversation that fully acknowledged it was a Nazi symbol. Now, having said that, he was saying in that conversation how, yes, it was a Nazi symbol, but it was okay because... And he started, basically he was saying, it's used by lots of folks in the military. It's just sort of an aggressive skull kind of thing. It doesn't have to be associated with its Nazi origins, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and there are lots of folks in the military that have this that aren't Nazis.
Yeah, you know what? That all may be true. But I will say this. I don't want to elect somebody that believes that, even if I take him at his full at his word. I don't. That's not a guy I want. Period.
Yeah, I mean, it shows this. The best possible interpretation of all this is bad judgment from start to finish, including how he's handled the last 2 weeks. So we're not just even talking about like things that happened years ago. Like,
and that's giving him the benefit of the doubt on anything he said. It's still it to me, it's unacceptable.
I mean, I saw, there's been some debate about this, and I think let's see, hold on 1 second. I think we're still fine, but I'm making sure. Okay. Okay. For some reason, my YouTube window had told me it was signed out, but
Okay.
we're good. There was a post by Christy Coulter, who's someone I knew and has been on this show a few years back, about this, but where she talked about, and
She's
other
not
people have said this too.
I'm going to make a joke. She's not related to Ann Coulter.
No, she's not.
Thank God.
Not as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Spelled differently.
Okay.
Anyway, look, if you're going to do redemption arcs are a part of American history. It's something we tend to revere. The person who was wrong, realizes they were wrong, admits they were wrong, and then works to undo the damage they did previously. Okay, that happens. And that can be okay. But what we have, but if he was going to play those cards for the tattoo, for his previous bad statements, for whatever, then he would have started out right out of the gate, essentially with that story.
Yeah, there you go. Not deny.
Right. I used to be an asshole. I did a lot of things that I am ashamed of today. I and not even specifically about Reddit posts or whatever, but just in general, I held views that I now realize were wrong. I have had some further experiences. I have met more people. I've talked to people. I've realized my previous whatevers were toxic and bad, and now I'm better, and I'm working to undo damage. I'm working to do the right thing now. By the way, I got that damn tattoo removed 20 years ago or whatever. He's probably not even old enough to do something, have a tattoo 20 years ago. I don't know how old the guy is.
Well, how old is he? What's his name again? I can't remember his name. I don't want to remember his name. I want to delete him from my files. What the fuck is his name again?
Let me bring him up again. Graham Planter.
Graham. I was going to say Graham Parker.
He's 41.
So 20 years. Well, no, 20 years ago. He could. 21. Yeah. Okay.
He could have done it just barely. Anyway, but that's not what he did at all.
No.
He preemptively went and started deleting as much off Reddit as he could. He denied knowing that this tattoo was of Nazi origin, even though subsequent Reddit posts that people found showed that he knew exactly what it was. Maybe he didn't know what it was when he got it, but he certainly knew before now. And he could have done something about it.
If I found out that I got something that I thought was cool, okay, not that I have any tattoos, okay, but if I went and I found out that I got something on that I thought was cool, and then somebody fucking told me that it was a Nazi symbol, I'd be fucking running to the goddamn fucking place to get this shit off of me.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Maybe, say if I bought a t-shirt, okay, then I thought, oh, that looks cool, and somebody tells me, oh, you realize, right, that's a white supremacist logo. I'll be fucking burning the shirt immediately.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. And yeah, and you'd tell that story if it came up. You'd
Exactly. I said, listen, I went to the shop. I saw this t-shirt. Man, it looks so fucking cool. I thought, whatever, let me get this. Then all of a sudden, I'm together with some friends, and somebody points out that it's a fucking white supremacist thing, and we were having a barbecue, and you know what? I grabbed the damn shirt off of me and just fucking tossed it in the fire pit. I didn't know that what I bought.
Yeah. To switch to a slightly lighter thing for a moment, since you mentioned the tattoos that people don't know what are.
Okay.
There's a woman, oh
God.
No. She does a whole series, and I wish I don't know her name. She just has come up for me flipping through on TikTok, but she's a woman, fluent Chinese speaker. Her whole thing. Is translating people's Chinese tattoos.
Yes, I've seen some of this. Yes,
which they because people get these tattoos because they think the Chinese characters look cool or whatever, and they have no idea what they say.
Or there's something wise or something, and it says "Eat at Joe's."
Yes, or like I am stupid. Or
I am stupid. Yeah, exactly. Shit like yes.
And it's just hilarious because, like, they come in. Every once in a while, there's one that actually makes sense, but most of the time, and of course, she doesn't pick the ones that make sense because why would you?
Well,
They're not the
obviously,
funny
why?
ones
Well,
for making
that's not
content.
fun. That's not the fun, right?
But like, there are lots that are just gobbledygook nonsense phrases which mean absolutely nothing at all.
Oh yeah.
And then there are phrases that are just like you said, eat it, Joe's. I am stupid. Like the butterfly is dead. Whatever. I don't know. Like, and it's hilarious. Okay. So anyway, I guess this is the key thing to me is like, he has not shown that arc. He has not shown that he is, really over this, which makes you sort of immediately suspicious.
He is actually using the standard, substandard GOP playbook, which is double down and deny. That's it.
Which
and
makes you
just evade. Fuck this shit. I don't want that guy. Go run in the
which makes
Republican primary.
It makes you wonder, like, if you actually elected this guy, what would you actually get?
Exactly.
Are you getting something more like the asshole that will be happy wearing Nazi tattoos for 15 years and everything you associate with that?
Probably.
Or did he really? Is he really like this great progressive whatever? And I feel like this is a scenario where you're highly likely to be disappointed, but even more so, you just don't know. You can't trust him anymore. Whatever ability to trust is gone. And also, like, now to tie to another conversation we had on the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack this week, like, okay, he's not what you want. Like, if he does end up winning the nomination, is he still better than Collins? Now, this is with Collins, I'm not sure. At least if it was him versus Trump, I'd probably still pick him over Trump. Yeah. But if it was him versus Collins, I don't know. Maybe, probably. Like, is it enough of a complete disqualifier? Do you believe his redemptive arc? Do you take the gamble?
Okay. The problem is, like you said, it's the choice between like him and Collins, like right now, and I'm like, fuck. I would have to fucking like swallow hard and still vote for this guy if I had to, but I sure as hell wouldn't like it.
Right. And meanwhile, like, and I don't know. See, here's the thing. If it's just between like him, I said on the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack, okay, at first, a few weeks ago, before all this stuff coming out, I was like, why the hell are they trying to get Mills to run? They've got this guy. People are excited about him. He's young. He's got energy. He looks like he could win. He's whatever. Like, why would they run Mills? This guy looks good. And so I was excited about it. As soon as all this stuff came out, I was like, okay, fine. Run the old 77-year-old Democrat with whatever.
Who's a woman?
Who's a popular governor.
Who's a popular governor and a woman.
So I would probably pick at this point. My default
right now,
Mills.
My default is about Mills.
Yeah,
Mills.
Now,
no thinking about it.
The one caveat I would say about this still, I'd have to think about it. Like, Yvonne and I were talking on the Slack, and you guys can go look on the Slack for this. If you missed it, join the Slack if you haven't. We were talking about this in the context of Newsom and Trump, or other MAGA Republicans. But if at this point, though, if there was lots of polling, and the polling showed this Planter guy doing better against Collins than Mills did, would that change? Like, because and there are mixed feelings here because there's different points in the decision-making process. There's who do you actually like the most? There's whose policies do you agree with the most? And then there's the completely strategic, do you want to win? And is winning the only thing that matters? Like, and like if a Democrat who I don't like is doing better against the Republican, do I still vote for the Democrat I don't like over the Democrat I do like because they have a better chance of winning? And years ago, I would have said, of course not. You vote for the one that is most aligned with your own views, and you vote for you, and duh, not even a hard decision. But in the situation we're at now, where every senator matters, and we're looking at the absolute destruction of everything I value in this country, do you make that choice? Because this is the same thing, by the way.
I will say, listen.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is very simple. This is going to a primary. I'm going with whomever the primary picks as the guy.
Well, no, but if you were voting in the primary, who would you vote
If
for?
I was voting in the primary, I'm still voting for
Mills.
Yeah.
Even if polls said...
I mean, unless the
Mills,
polls were like there's a 10-point difference. If
Right.
the difference is like we're talking margin of error difference, I'm going with Mills.
Right, well, but I'm doing that scenario. I'm doing
But
like
but if it's like a 10-15 point difference, then yikes.
if the polls were showing that Collins would crush Mills, but it would be competitive with this guy. I mean, that's not... I haven't seen polls that say that. I'm just putting it out there.
Man, that's a tough call. But especially because listen, so many things change after a primary. Look, we saw that with Biden when he won the nomination back in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was behind on everything up until all of a sudden, he surged and everybody consolidated around him.
He was behind in the primary polls. I mean, one of the appeals to him was even back then in early polls, he did better against Trump in the polls than anybody else. Right?
Than anybody else. Yeah.
And but
here's the thing.
Consolidated around.
But by the way, even then, even though I saw that, I wasn't voting for him at that moment.
I thought you'd already switched to him because,
no,
Kamala was already out.
I think it may have been, I can't remember. It may be because Kamala was already out. But my first and second choices, were not him. He was really down to my third. So I went with him because he was my third choice, but it wasn't.
And just to be clear, by the time we got to Florida, the race was essentially over.
The race is over. Right. Exactly.
And certainly by the time they got to Washington State as well.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, I just, but I had not changed my mind is what I'm saying. If my candidate would have still been on the ballot, I would have still voted for them anyway. Even though I knew the matchup. And because I knew that, look, even if they didn't win, I was going to vote for whomever was the winner of the fucking nomination anyway. It's not like this was, I was expressing my opinion of who I thought should be there, but that didn't mean that I was going to vote, I wasn't going to vote for them anyway.
The problem of that, of course, is it essentially assumes that your vote doesn't make a difference in the primary and whoever wins. If you were just, picking them outright, it makes it more complicated. I mean, all I'm saying, like these decisions get complicated in this scenario, and also to bring it back to general elections, this kind of rationale with, okay, I don't like them, but they're better than the other guy,
right, are
exactly what a lot of Trump voters said about Donald Trump. It's also the same kind of rationale of, on the other hand, saying, they are toxic, I can't vote for them no matter what, is right. What a lot of left Democrats, or what a lot of leftists who wouldn't call themselves Democrats necessarily, their rationale for not voting for Harris. And or Hillary or whatever. And it's because I'm not going to make the lesser of two evils choice. I'm going to sit back or vote third party or whatever.
Actually, I love how that becomes I'm not voting for the lesser of two evils when what you're doing is actually voting for the evil. And I'm like, and you try to argue. No, but what you're doing by not voting is voting for the evil. Period. That's what you're doing. You're just doing it passively, being passive aggressive about it, but you're doing it.
That ends up being the effect. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Don't give me that shit that you're not voting for. You're doing it. You're giving passive acquiescence to the evil, just because you're not getting everything you want like a toddler. Fuck you.
So anyway, I don't know. I am anxious to see the first polls that come out after all of this stuff has come out about Planter, to see if he drops and Mills goes up. Like, my kind of expectation is that will happen, and that Mills will end up being the nominee here, not Planter. But I don't know. I mean, like, I've heard, Sanders didn't immediately back away from this guy, for instance. He's sort of was going along with, he's changed, he's fixing it, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. He may have some enduring support. People seem to, he's charismatic. He's, he talks well. People relate to him, and he is younger. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We will know soon enough.
Okay. Let's take a break, and then we'll figure out something else to talk about for a few minutes. Back after this.
What?
No, that was bad. Oh, no, that was bad. No, I don't like that either. Once upon a rainbow, you were on the floor, eating the bugs that you found upon my face. No, that's what? Bye. Now I have to look at this stupid list and pick something.
By the way, while we were doing this,
Yes.
I am traveling Monday back to San Juan for some stuff. But by the way, I don't know, you didn't post anything, but I did tell you that I am getting surgery on November 5th. Okay.
Yes. You mentioned the surgery before,
but I did tell Sam, because he gave me shit about the other day about
short notice.
But it was short notice. But my wife also forgot about our fucking wedding anniversary too. Okay, I remembered before she did. Okay, so
excellent.
So I give me some fucking break. I did remember, and I did get her something nice and arrange her something, for our anniversary. But I'm getting surgery on November 5th.
Right.
And that's on a Wednesday, and I will not be in a good position to be able to record the podcast, because I know that I'm going to be recovering from the surgery, and I am staying at my brother's place in Texas because the surgeon is somebody we know in the family that lives over there. And I was like, I really would like, if I'm going to get my first surgery really ever, I would like it to be done by somebody that is somebody very trusted by my family. My sister-in-law is a doctor. My brother is a pharmacist at the pharmacy hospital over there. They've known this guy for a lot of time. He's operated on other people in the family, and he's been he actually has figured out shit that other people haven't. Okay, so I trust this guy very much. Obviously, some DEI hire that we got from Mexico. I'm allowing myself to be done that, and I know. And
so the bottom line is
that I can't record. I will not be able to record that weekend. So therefore, somebody should co-host with
and
Sam.
I was going to send out my regular email a little bit later, closer. I mean, I don't like to do it like the day before, but I don't like to do it too far out either. But for those of you listening, if you are interested in co-hosting and are actually listening to this show, not just receiving a random email from me, you can email back. It's feedback@curmudgeons-corner.com, and let us know you're interested. If we know you, it's probably a slam dunk. We'll try to work it out. I'll try to work it out, make a time work for you. This would probably need to be recorded either the evening of November 6th, Thursday, November 6th, or Friday, November 7th, or earlier in the day on Saturday, November 8th. Those are the options where we usually record. Let me know if we've never heard your name before and have never heard of you, we may save you for another time, but we can start talking to you and get to know you so that we can maybe do that another time. But yeah, if you've been talking to us already, we know you, blah, blah, blah. You've done the show before. Let us know that you're interested.
One thing is
we'll get one or more if you want. We could have a whole party. We could have like 5 of you, you know.
Wow.
Could be crazy.
Party. Woo! Okay.
Yeah, or you can tell me on the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack as well if you're already on there. DM me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
as we're preparing for the Curmudgeon's Corner party, whatever the heck this is going to be.
Are you trying to say the next topic should be Epstein? And
no. What I was going to say is that
what
I was going to say is that I just got a notice of a mistake that I just did in booking my travel.
Oh,
that
oops.
In my ridiculous amount of time that I've done.
Did you do those like those girls did a month or so ago and go to Tunis instead of Tunis?
No, not something that dumb. Okay, all right, but I mean I've made. I'm trying to remember. I think that maybe once as a travel agent, we confused the Greensboro.
Okay.
Because there is more than one Greensboro, okay? And I think that the person that was booking and me, we weren't sure which one they were heading to, and I think we may have sent them to the wrong one. Something like that. I may have done a mistake like that in my travel agent days, okay? But understand that I've booked... I mean, with my... listen, as a travel agent, sometimes we would issue like 20... We would do 15... I'm going to say on average, we did 10 bookings a day. So if you think about it, I mean... You know, the number of bookings I would do I've done thousands, tens of thousands of bookings, okay? Rarely did I ever make a mistake, okay? Not that it didn't happen, but it happened, I'm going to guess, less than 10 times, okay? That a mistake was made. But I just did a mistake in this booking that I just did, and I got the app from the travel agency notified me, and it sent me a weird notification because it said, you don't have a hotel for your stay. I'm like, what the hell do you mean I don't have a hotel for my stay? I know I booked a hotel for my stay. What the hell are you talking about? Okay. Yeah, you're missing a hotel from your next trip to San Juan. And I'm like, but why is that? Well, here's this goofy thing I did. Traveling from Monday through Thursday, I somehow booked a hotel only from Monday through Wednesday. Now, I don't know how the hell I was able to do that, but the app just notified me that, hey, you're missing a hotel. And I'm like, really? I am? And I just went in. I fucked that up. Probably the hotel, because I've extended a stay at a hotel, you know, probably would have given me an extra night. But listen, I have been in hotels where it's happened that we've needed to do an extended stay, and the hotel has been booked solid, and they're like telling me, "No, sir, we're sorry, but we cannot give you an extra night. You need to check." And so I just fixed it as we were talking because I'm shocked. I'm telling you, from all the bookings I've ever done, thousands, I made a mistake like this in less than 10.
Okay.
So,
good job. Oh, before I get to my actual topic, I did have one other thing to mention. Since you were talking about your surgery, I do not have another surgery coming. I did have surgery on my nose a few months ago, but my wife, Brandy...
Well, you need to get a refund.
A refund on the nose surgery? Yeah.
Yeah, you that nose job. I mean, it looks the same. What the hell are you doing?
Exactly.
There is this thing. I didn't share this article where apparently a whole bunch of people that work in companies like ours in tech are now, as they approach their 60s, all getting facelifts.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. I just stumbled upon that story right now because tech is for the young, and so therefore they're all getting paid for plastic surgery. Yes.
Okay, whatever. I'll just tell you, like I did have the reconstructive surgery on my nose, and the intention was to make it look like it did before, and I think they did a decent job. There's a little bit of a scar if you look carefully, but like there was a giant hole in my fucking nose. Okay, like it was giant. It was huge. I've
No
I've got
hole now.
I've got pictures if anybody wants the pictures of the open wound before they reconstructed it.
No thanks.
But just hit me up at that feedback at curmudgeon-corner.com if you want those pictures.
I'll send them to you directly. Don't post them on the whatever. Just if you're gonna send the pictures, DM the pictures. We don't want all rest of us don't want to see this shit.
Yeah, there you go. No, but my wife is having surgery on Tuesday.
Oh God.
Knee surgery. She injured her knee like it was actually a long time ago. Not this July 4th, but the July 4th before this July 4th. So like a year and a bit ago. She was we were at the fireworks celebration and she was walking back from getting snacks or whatever. And there was a hole in the pavement and she basically, her foot went in the hole. She tripped, she went over, she hurt her knee. Ow. And her knee's been bothering her ever since. She finally got it fully checked out about a month ago, and they were like, "Yeah, we should fix that." There's an extra piece of like floating cartilage or whatever that did something it wasn't supposed to, and blah blah blah, and it's causing problems. We should fix that. So
okay,
she's going in and having that fixed on Tuesday. So anyway, surgery all around. Because
surgery's all around. Surgery's for everybody! Yay!
Exactly.
It's not like we're not Oprah. We don't hand out cars. We just hand out surgeries. Yes.
Buy one, get one free.
Oh, God, great. Here you go. Both the kind of BOGOs I don't like.
Okay. There are a number of things that could be talked about. But I think...
Well, since we are, like, pretty long, let's pick something that's short.
We're not actually pretty long. We spent like 10 minutes on your tech difficulties before we started.
Oh, okay. Does that count? Okay.
It doesn't get it. It doesn't. It's not included in the when we do this.
Ah, okay. All right.
So,
okay.
Anyway,
well, we can't go as long as we did on the other subject.
No. Look, things that we could talk about. That I'm not going to talk about. The value of strategic pandering. That was the Newsom Trump stuff. The Virginia, how do you say her last name? Giloof, something.
And we should pronounce her name.
She deserves some respect.
Yes. I'm gonna look that up because she does.
Okay, look it up.
I gotta look.
Anyway, while you do that, she had a book out that details a bunch of her experiences with Epstein and others. There's more about Prince Andrew in there. She mentioned some other folks.
Jeffrey.
Yeah. Virginia Jeffrey. So there's a bunch to talk about there. The only thing I'll mention before moving on, I guess, is the one thing that stood out for me from the clips what people have talked about the book so far, just besides Prince Andrew and Maxwell and the main players, is her mention of the way these parties worked. All of these other rich and famous people, they may not have directly interacted with the girls. Some of them did, but it was open.
They were aware. They had to be aware that something was happening.
Not just aware, watching. They had these these things would be happening in the middle of a living room or whatever, with the party going around them. So if you were an attendee, you saw what was happening. It wasn't just plausible deniability. You knew exactly what was happening. Which, even if you didn't partake, makes you culpable. for not doing anything about it at the very least. You know, or even for staying, for not walking away. Like, you know, anyway, that was one thing I noted, which to me, like, vastly expands the group of people who are probably very right to be afraid of the Epstein files. You know, anyway, moving on. We have the Trump giving himself money from the DOJ.
I mean, like I mentioned,
Want a lightning
we
round
have
us for a
moved-
second?
Yeah, no, simple thing. We have moved on from the kind of like indirect payment of, hey, buy, you know, oh, we're staying at my hotel during an official trip. We're doing the G7 meeting at my hotel, and we're paying, you know, we're sending payments straight into the I am just going to have the Treasury send me money
Yes.
phase of this grift.
And so specifically the way this worked out, before his second term started, in sort of the interim time period, Trump had filed various motions. It wasn't a lawsuit yet, although he said it was at one point. He was wrong. He filed a thing basically saying, I deserve compensation for the improper prosecutions you have done against me, both for the Russia stuff during the Mueller investigation and for the raid of Mar-a-Lago. And basically, bottom line is, once he becomes president, it's his administration that gets to decide what to do about those complaints.
Right.
And
It's his appointees. By the way, it's his attorneys.
it's his attorneys who are on the opposite side of those cases
Right.
when they were happening, who now are in positions where they get to decide whether or not to give him $230 million in compensation. And he made it clear from his comments as well that it's not really his appointee's choice anyway. It's his decision.
Right.
He will make the decision of how much money to give himself.
Which Sam, but he said he's going to give it to charity.
Oh, yes. Just like all the other charities.
Just all the charitable donations that he has given over the years. Of course, yes.
Right. Okay. Lightning rounding again, instead of like picking one of these for... we got Bannon talking about Trump 2028 again. He has made mentions of this before. You know, when the clip was going around this week, I'm like, hasn't he said this stuff before? Yes, he has said this stuff before, but he said it again this week and was in the news for it. Basically saying, you know, someone asked
flat
him
out that Trump is getting a third term.
Trump is going to run again, and Trump will get a third term. And somebody asked, what about the 22nd Amendment? He's like, we've got ways around that. He didn't specify, but we've got ways around that. And there are a number that people have talked about. You know, there's the trick of Trump runs as VP, and then as soon as they're sworn in on January 20th, Vance or whoever immediately resigns, and he becomes president again that way.
Of course, you know that. One of the things about that is because, you know, people in that circle are so traitors, right? Hell, if I'm Vance, I don't want to let go of power. Fuck that.
Right.
I'm probably taking him and sending him to jail.
Well, you know, Trump could just shoot him at that point on Fifth Avenue.
Well, actually, Vance could shoot him, and he's immune.
Well, he could do that now, but I'm saying once we had that scenario where Vance was trying to stay in power. And
right, what I'm saying, but Vance could shoot him.
Yeah.
And he's immune.
He could do that now.
Oh, that's right. And he'd be president.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about this before. Like, there's no like way around this. Like, you know, because at that point you can't. It would take a long time to impeach.
Right.
You can't invoke the 22nd Amendment at that point because you don't have a vice president, and you need a vice president plus half the cabinet.
Right.
You know, so. You know, a coup here is completely legal. Also, by the way, since if it happens in D.C., then the federal pardon power applies.
Right.
Because normally murder is a state crime.
But in
DC,
DC, Right. It's a federal crime.
So the
He
vice
can pardon
president,
himself.
vice president at any time can shoot the president, take power, pardon himself, and he's free and clear.
You know,
There are a few holes in
Can I
our
just-
constitutional system as it currently is.
30 years ago, if you had told me that we'd be having these discussions as plausible, as truly plausible things, I would have told you you're completely out of your mind.
I don't think Vance is lining up to shoot Trump. I think Vance is much more a smother him with a pillow type.
Fair? Yeah.
You know,
It's a good point. Yeah. Died in his sleep. Oh, well.
exactly. So anyway, yeah. So corruption run rampant. 2028. Oh, another theory of the case is basically just the make them stop you, just run anyway, run it through the courts. I mentioned, and again on the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack, Yvonne and I went back and forth on this a little bit. The same kind of theory that the Supreme Court used on saying that you couldn't disqualify the president for being an insurrectionist could potentially be expanded further to basically say, well, the states can't really determine eligibility at all, and that has to be determined on January 6th by the Congress. There are all kinds of things. There are all kinds of ways you could do this, and none of them are like legit or normal. But we're not living in that world anymore.
Right, we're not living in that world anymore.
We're living in the world where Donald Trump will just try whatever he wants and make them stop him. And we're going to talk about, my last thing is going to be, of course, the White House, which is another example of that. But even on more minor things, he's determining that he's going to pay the military through means that are not legal. He's taking, there are all kinds of things. He's moving money around during the shutdown that is not authorized in any way, shape, or form, and basically says, "Well, stop me." And the thing is, who's going to sue him? There's a question of who has standing, and if the Democrats try to go after him for it, like, wait, you're paying the military. You shouldn't pay the military. You don't have authorization.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bad political,
Yeah.
So they're not going to.
Okay, by the way, one great thing, you're going to talk about the ballroom. And this came up on our Slack today, and
Yes.
I realized there may be a silver lining to this right now. I just realized. Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't have time to do a proper asbestos or lead mitigation whatsoever, because that would take a long time to do. I hope all these fuckers get sick and die, like right now, which is very likely that they will, given that they just went and exposed themselves to all of that. For a construction like this, usually, to go through that and mitigate all of that shit literally takes years to properly do that. And they did not do that. And I hope to fucking hell they get all of them die of some serious fucking disease from that fucking demolition.
Now, of course, the person who got the most dose is probably that poor schlub driving the backhoe or whatever it was.
Hey, you know what? Fuck him too, because if they went and they sent me on that job, you know what I would have done? I would have quit on the fucking spot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not like those jobs are scarce. That is a job that actually is one of those jobs that we keep saying we have trouble filling. And so, if somebody went and told me, oh, just take that backhoe and knock down the fucking White House, I would have said, fuck this shit, I quit. Or no, make me, fire me, so I can get my unemployment.
Right.
So if that guy did it, that guy was okay with it. He gets exposed to it, fuck you, you did it on your own.
So anyway, this is another example of and I saw a number of people post detailed rundowns of applicable laws and such. Most of it seems to be, as with so much that we have discovered over the years, that there are all kinds of norms about what should have happened here, but there are very few laws, and when there are laws, there are no teeth to those laws. And so
Because we expected people to respect the law,
And in
especially the
some-
president.
And in some cases, there are laws specifically about preservation of federal buildings. Guess what? White House exempted. Like specifically written out of the law as this doesn't apply to the White House. And this is the kind of thing where, the Trump folks have been pointing out over and over again, oh, there have been lots of renovations to the White House. Hell, the East Wing itself was a renovation to the White House in like 1901 or something. It was added.
I thought I thought it was it Teddy Roosevelt or FDR?
The for the East Wing,
Yeah.
1901 would be Teddy, right?
Yeah,
I mean, definitely not FDR. I'm just
I mean, that was okay. So I thought it was. I thought okay. Jeez.
McKinley was president in 1901.
Yeah, but I thought.
And then the first Roosevelt took over right after that.
No, it was expanded in 1942. That's what I was thinking. I knew that Roosevelt did.
Truman did a major renovation. Truman gutted the entire White House because it was falling apart.
Well, it was falling apart.
He preserved the exterior and redid the entire interior of the White House.
It was.
There were various expansions. There are various things that have happened. And, and people point out, Obama added a basketball court and blah, blah, blah.
Obama didn't add a basketball court. Obama converted the tennis court to basketball.
To a basket, yes.
Okay, so there wasn't a construction of a new court. They just repainted some lines and added a couple of basketball hoops. Not exactly really like, which could have been easily turned back to what the hell it was.
Anyway, the point is all of those actually did go through a process.
Well, the one that they were saying about Obama, the 393 million, because I remember that one very much, was a lot of the systems in the White House, the boilers, the ACs, everything electrical were ancient. Okay, the AC systems didn't work everything was as old and falling apart. And through an appropriation through Congress, through a process, money was approved in order to fix all this shit that in many cases was dated back to fucking FDR and before.
Right. Anyway, the point is, everything previous did go through some sort of process. There was a proposal. It was examined. The public got to talk about it. There was an appropriation. There was a this. There was a that. And there was, a long, detailed process where whatever changes were being proposed were approved by multiple people in multiple places with, it wasn't a unilateral decision. Mm-hmm. In this case, no, it's just go. And also apparently there is one law, like they are touting over and over again how this is privately funded. The taxpayer won't pay a dime, right? Apparently there is a law from the late 1800s that specifically prohibits private funds going to maintenance and construction of public buildings. It has to come through the congressional appropriation process.
Yeah, and there is a reason for that, by the way.
Yeah.
A very good fucking reason.
And so, as is his approach with everything, Donald Trump is like, just do it, and then we'll deal with it. I mean, I was going to say, make them stop me. In this case, there's no make me stop me. It's done. By the time we're recording this, the entire east wing of the White House is gone. And apparently the remnants are now being buried in some golf course somewhere. It's no consideration of, historic faithfulness, whatever. No process. The funding is apparently illegal and is just being used as yet another mechanism to bribe this administration. It was really sad watching this.
Oh, it was awful. I had a terrible week with this thing. Look, and it's not because it's a building,
right?
It's not because it's the building, because buildings get renovated. Things sometimes happen.
People have pointed out, by the way, that there have been serious proposals for building some sort of ballroom type area to hold bigger events, and even potentially renovating the East Wing to do it. Now, most of, if not all of these proposals were you change the interior, you leave the exterior alone, and we're nowhere near as massive as this. But there were some serious proposals that were being talked about because there is some need there, but not like this.
It's not like this. And by the way, speaking of the whole asbestos mitigation and stuff, there is an organization called the Asbestos Disease Awareness Organization, okay, which literally posted a story specifically about this in their webpage, and they are talking about specifically about how that building, okay, the East Wing is more than 100 years old, with portions construction initially in 1902, later additions in 1942, at the height of our nation's use of toxic asbestos in our construction, okay? Yep. That there is no way that they properly did anything to mitigate that when they demolished that. There was no time.
Yeah, and they probably did some of the encasing the asbestos stuff that was going on a lot in the 70s and 80s. But when you demolish it undoes all that.
Exactly. You undo all of that, which is why if you're going to fucking demolish it, it takes a process, a very painstaking process of first going in and removing all of that before you go and demolish the fucking building.
Yes. And you know,
so right now I can tell you flat out, people will get sick and die from that demolition as well.
So, and this brings another one of those issues where, like, you know, can the Democratic candidate please actually directly campaign on, you know, we'll tear down whatever the fuck he builds and
fuck yeah, I want that fucking thing. Like, I swear to God that I would like for explosive charges to be placed at it and just implode it as soon as possible.
You know, well, and here's the thing, you know, aside from everything else, because, like, I was thinking about that and, like, you know, actually, it is unlikely that a future president will do that. They will use the space because it's actually useful, blah, blah, blah. But then I also remember, this is Donald Trump building it. It's going to be a piece of shit.
It's going to be shit. Which is what one of my friends that's been in construction for 30 years, okay, basically said that there is no way that they're going to build something that isn't a piece of shit in the rush timeline they are doing this.
Yes. And you know, and of course the grift angle is here too. They're going to be siphoning money off that 300.
Oh, of course.
You know, so it's not all, they're going to be like, oh, let's get the cheapest possible materials we can get. Let's cut every corner we can possibly get.
But listen, but let's get the cheapest possible materials that we can get. But let's gold plate them so they look like something expensive, which is exactly the Trump style.
Oh, but also the cheapest in terms of quality.
Right.
But pay full price for it to your friends. Pocket the difference.
Who will, by the way, you know, go and send back part of it to myself.
Absolutely. There's no question in my mind that will all be happening. Okay.
Happy times, Sam.
Happy times. Happy times are here again. Like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's end this. Not the universe, not our lives. End the show. Yeah, just to be clear.
That sounded very, 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 you know, how do I say? Just very, just, I'm done. End this. Where's the gun?
No.
Not that kind of let's end this. Okay.
Not that kind of let's end this. Let's end the show. all the stuff at the end. Curmudgeons-corner.com. Go there. I mentioned all the new exciting stuff. We got Mastodon, we got Blue Sky, we got Facebook links, and we've got the link to buy the mug. So if you have been craving that Curmudgeon's Corner mug, or you've got one and you just want to have 5 or 6 of them instead.
I must say,
you
the
know?
Curmudgeon's Corner mug I use regularly. Okay, it's quite useful, and it's been quite durable for me as well.
Yeah.
You know, the image on it has stuck on. You know, I've got some other mugs that maybe with age look like they're fading a little bit, whatever. This one has been, man, it stayed together for a long time.
What mine typically do, and I have, like, I'll get scrapes on that picture over time, like from it scraping against other things in the cabinet or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, but they're good mugs. I use them all the time. You know, whatever. Hey, and if you guys are interested and want other Curmudgeon's Corner swag, let me know. Like I've got this hooked up, so it just goes to Zazzle to the mug. But hold on, I gotta answer this. Okay. 218. No, if you want other Curmudgeon's Corner swag, you know, I've only got Zazzle linked directly to the mug, but you know, they make all kinds of stuff. You want our faces on a T-shirt? We could probably do that.
Oh God. I gotta be honest. I don't want to see my face on a T-shirt.
Oh, yes. Anyway, you can get the mug. Of course, all the ways to contact us as well. All the ones I just mentioned, plus email feedback at curmudgeons-corner.com. Of course, I'm telling you all this stuff, so now you don't have to go to the page. Well, you still do if you want the mug. But all the transcripts, all the old episodes. Ow! I just punched my desk. I'm moving my hands around. And I punched my desk.
We're trying to arrange another surgery here for
exactly.
Yeah,
I need the hand replaced.
Yeah.
Get one of the Luke Skywalker hands. Anyway, all the stuff, and of course the link to our Patreon, which we went over all the tiers before. So give us money, lots of money, and we appreciate that at various levels. You can get the T-shirt. The mug. No, not the T-shirt. I guess if you really want a T-shirt, let me know. I'll figure it out. But you get the mug. You can get a postcard. You can get us mentioning you on the show. All that kind of stuff at $2 a month or more. Or if you just ask, we will invite you to the Curmudgeon's Corner Slack, where Yvonne and I and others hang out throughout the week, sharing links, chatting, whatever. So Yvonne, what's the highlight of the week from the Slack that would make people really, really want to join or visit more often?
Okay, there we go. Woman trying to kill cockroach sets South Korea apartment block ablaze.
Oh no.
A neighbor died after falling to the ground in a failed escape attempt, okay? To escape through a window. This lady, for some reason, thought that the best method to try to kill a cockroach, instead of stomping on it, was to use, if I remember correctly, a can of, like, a flammable spray and a lighter, okay? To try to kill the cockroach, okay? Apparently she had used that method before, but on Monday, items in her home caught fire, okay? And so, for whatever reason, apparently on social media, blasting cockroaches with blow torches or homemade flamethrowers has emerged as a novel way of getting rid of house pests made popular by videos on social media. Look, can I just say, and unfortunately, that this led to this would have been really more. This would have been funny if somebody didn't die from setting the fucking building ablaze.
Right.
Look, if you want to kill a fucking pest, just stomp on it. Damn it.
And in this case, I wouldn't be surprised if in the end, the cockroach survived.
Survived. Yes. Probably.
Yes. Yet, just generally, as a ongoing theme, I like to avoid fire.
Yes.
There are a few places where it's necessary.
Yeah.
But just as one example, once upon a time when we were younger, having candles in the house was commonplace.
Oh, fuck.
For one thing or another. Before us, people even used candles on their damn Christmas trees and stuff like that.
That's true.
Before the little electric lights. But people still, when we were young, candles were commonplace. People had candles used as decorations. I guess some people still do. But I know at this point, and also as a backup, the power goes out, have some candles, right? At this point, all my backup light stuff is still electrical. I got flashlights. I've got little lanterns that are battery powered. Even when you want little decorative tea lights or whatever, you've got battery powered ones. You don't need open flame. I mean,
look, I will admit, I have some in my house. My wife likes to have some candles that
for the
do
smell
some
or whatever.
Yeah. But they are in containers that even if you even you forget the candle lit, nothing's going to happen. Okay, they're in a safe, a container and limited location. Okay, in order to avoid such kind of things. But it's not like I have a lot of them. There's it's just.
Look,
but that's about the only thing that
I get the feel. They're somewhat cool sometimes. And
it gives a nice smell.
People like
to the house with
fireplaces too sometimes. But I remember a story when I was researching my genealogy stuff a number of years ago. I think I may have mentioned this on the show once before, but I forget which ancestor this was. This was back a number of generations in the mid 1800s sometime, maybe even earlier. Might have been 1700s. But anyway, they had a fireplace, and it was I forget, 3 or 4 kids plus the parents, little girl 3 or 4 years old. Her dress caught fire off the fireplace because she got too close for it. Went up like a candle, ran around the house as she was dying, set everything else on fire. Basically, the family of 5, there was 1 survivor or something. Everybody else died. The house was gone. And it's this kind of stuff happened all the time because people had open flames everywhere.
We don't do
that anymore.
In Puerto Rico, our houses are made of cement, and there was the lady that used to take care of us. She set 2 of our kitchens on fire. However, the house is made out of cement. The fire was contained to the kitchen. The whole house. In neither case did not go up, which would have been normal here in the U.S. if the kind of fire that we had would have set a house here in the U.S. 100% on fire. But because thankfully we like to use reinforced concrete, the fire was absolutely contained just simply to the kitchen, and therefore we didn't do that. But it was scary, regardless. Okay, that we had those happen. So
yeah. Okay, anyway, reduce open flames to the bare necessities. That's my advice to everybody. Okay, we're done here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for yet another Curmudgeon's Corner. Stay safe, have fun, not too much fun, blah, 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 blah. And we'll be in again next week, if all goes well. And 2 weeks from now, again, Yvonne will be out. If somebody wants to potentially be the co-host, to record either the evening U.S. time of November 6th or 7th or the daytime of November 8th, Saturday, let me know. feedback@curmudgeon-corner.com. I will send out an email to all the usual suspects, minus the last 3 co-hosts. I always eliminate the last 3 co-hosts for variety. But contact me anyway if you want. Okay, we're out for real. Here comes the thing.
Outro.
Goodbye. Say goodbye, Yvonne.
Bye.
Okay, thank you, Yvonne. Hitting stop. Bye.
Bye.